Sagittarius, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be light to you here. We're here with June 15th, 31st of the month. Sagittarius, like, you've been here all along. Why are you even, like, welcoming us again? This is 13, right? Okay, we're here for 13, right? Yeah, okay. Sagittarius. Pretty much, I think everyone is wondering what is going on with your sign here, but here we are. We're here with a bonus new moon and Cancer reading. All right, we're moving on from your full moon in Sagittarius. Okay, the roller coaster has to dock again here. You know, new riders got to get on Sagittarius. They're just on the roller coaster of Sagittarius. Okay. All right, now let's get into it. We're going to be reading on the 15th, 31st of the month. And for those of you who are tuning in and maybe the first time viewers, welcome, love and light to you here. Thank you all so much for tuning in here to you ultimately. And thank you as well for your dear likes, your comments, your shares, your subscriptions. If the reading is going by rather quickly, a quick little note, we are using tarot cards. We're reading, you could say it in that way, but we are also channeling. So if it's going by a little quickly, at times it can kind of get speedy. So if you want to slow it down, you can do so by clicking the three little dots at the base of the reading. Now let's jump into it. Here for you, dear Pisces. I'm hearing as well. Oh, you got a few cross watchers here, Sagittarius. A few people who got their eye on you and your work. I'm hearing that as well. All right, people curious about your Sagittarius. They're like, what's up with Saggy? I wonder. I'm hearing, why have they had so many readings? As Sagittarius, you've been on fire lately, baby. You've been on a roll here. You've had a number of readings here in succession, and it's interesting because it's really, I'm hearing, actually stimulating. I'm hearing your character in a public way. Wow, I'm not sure what that's going to take, because you will, maybe for knowing your business is picking up in a certain way, or maybe you're working on a project that is like kind of quirky. You're like, okay, this is really something I think Willy Wonka would have on his resume, but I think it's working for me. Daughter's Swords are bright, and the Nine of Swords are reversed. Now let's get into it. We're gonna pull a card for each of the days. This is technically again June 3rd, 15th, 31st, but Sagittarius, I'm here at Pisces again, so strong. Someone's got someone on their mind, no question. Whatever it is though, Sagittarius. I'm seeing a silver car here that came through in that Virgo reading, as well as the, I think it was Capricorn reading, yeah. But for a number of you, I'm hearing surprise, Ace, Two Wands. I almost said the Ace of Cups. Two Wands coming through. Now, technically, right, these energies can manifest over time, even in 6 months cycles, especially even with the moon cycle. The moon cycle can sort of translate over a period of, I'd say manifest over a cycle of 6 months, even to a year. So let's see here, whenever you do feel guided to connect, but, there is possibly something that you find manifest over time. Thank you, oh, Sun and Moon Child. Thank you all so much for your dear donations as well, and all your connections here. Everyone who's tuning in here, love and light to you all. Thank you for connecting and tuning into you, and let's jump into it, Sagittarius. For whatever you, there's something you're so excited about. There's something that maybe even you realize, you're like, this is working. Oh my gosh, like this is it. This is the way I want to carry this space out. Now, Two Wands upright. We then have the Four of Pentacles upright. Okay, so this is the 15th, we got the Nine of Swords with the Daughter of Swords. 16th, we got the Two Wands upright. Four of Pentacles on the 17th, 15th, yeah, 17th. 18th, we got the Father of Wands in reverse. 19th, we got the World in reverse. 20th, we've got the Eight of Pentacles upright. 21st, Four of Swords, whoa, with the Ten of Swords in reverse. So we got 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22 is the Ten of Cups in reverse. Seven of Wands in reverse on the 23rd. Four of Cups in reverse on the 24th. 25th is the Daughter of Pentacles upright. 26th is the Ace of Wands upright. 27th is the Mother of Pentacles upright. 29th is the Nine of Wands upright. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 is Son of Wands. 30th is the Empress. So for a number of you, I'm seeing right off the bat, wow, in your theme is a Strength card. This came through real strongly in your extended, which is available on the website, alchemy.com. Once we get off, I'll add this hopefully to the bio description. But for a number of you, there is something that I'm hearing this like right off the bat, like somebody wants to get involved with you in some kind of way. And I'm going to be honest here. I'm hearing Pisces, so strong. I'm hearing Scorpio, Sagittarius. It's a little uncomfortable. I mean, the thought of whatever the space is, maybe it's just happening, it's developing really quickly, and you're wondering, thank you so much, Jesse, for your dear donation. Love and light to you here. Thank you for connecting here to you. And for a number of you, it's just like, and again, thank you for your dear donation. Love and light to you here. For a number of you, it's like, it's just something that you feel you're really questioning. You're really, like, you want to be very careful, like, right before you get involved in this space. It really, you ask these really big questions of yourself. You're like, okay, well, what about this? And what about that? And what about the way I'm gonna be holding the camera up? And like maybe for me this is actually something that you want to legally sparse out, or maybe you want to like you feel at least Sagittarius, you want to really look into, maybe even research here with the Nine of Swords reverse, Daughter shows the Bride. And for me this is maybe something that let's see, 1 second. It's something maybe someone, yeah, they want you to represent it even possibly. They're like, well, I would love to have you like on the road with us. I'm hearing that as well on the reel, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm hearing easy now. I'm hearing skitter. This came through, and it was, I think the Pisces read. Yeah, I think it was a Pisces read. So it's just like, oh my. Now, 911 here on the clock. 911 actually, if you look that up as an angel number, I think it is associated with an always teacher person, whatever you feel. You can intuitively sort of connect with, readings in some kind of way, but, or I said readings with numbers, number sequences, but that could speak of change. So for a number of you, there is something possibly that you feel also, you're kind of like aware of uniquely, and it is something that you've really been interested in for quite some time, and maybe for this is someone wanting to reach out to you, wanting to connect with you in some way, but it's, you've always maybe felt like naturally, like I feel like there's potential in this also, I'm here in this industry, maybe even with this person. However, I don't want to just jump into it just because I feel that I can. So for me, maybe this is a space of investment. You're really thinking very closely about your time, your energy, right? Investment can speak of so many different things, like even energetically. Maybe a number of people will be like, well, you're only dedicating like 2 hours to that project. Like, why don't you get involved? But for a number of you, there can be so much more that goes into that space, especially on an energetic, empathic level as well, where you're like, I don't know if it really makes sense for me. Maybe this is for a number of you, like, people in your environment, maybe you feel like there's a little bit of this question of, feeling comfortable with a certain pace that a number of people are keeping up with, whatever that may mean, in particular for a number of you, or a number of people maybe in the environment, but, what is considered pace? Everyone is at their stage in a certain way, and so maybe for a number of you, something has also been kind of stop, go, and, you have to remember that your rhythm is the one that feels right to you, right for you, and it's not going to be something that anyone else can really write off as, like, right or wrong, and for maybe this is a development in your industry that you feel, or you're with your career, or your soul path, life path calling, that is really like, as you feel at the end of the day, like a personal process. And I'm hearing this way, like, just remember that, right? And so, if you feel like, well, I don't know if I'm like behind or I'm ahead, if I feel like I need more time, am I behind or ahead, don't feel bogged down or up in any which way or any direction. At the end of the day, right, what it is that surfaces is you and your potential. So for a number of you, there is a lot of passion here. Hey, Jessica, I don't know what happened there in the last reading. I don't know what that was. Okay, so we unhid. Well, I don't know how it ended up. Someone's finger hit the thing, I guess. But Jessica, you're unhidden. Yay! So now, and yeah, for a number of you, it was just like maybe there was something that was just it possibly was brought up in a way, or it was like sparked, or there was like maybe some kind of interaction that was possibly even kind of uncomfortable for a number of you, but it was interesting because it's in a space that you're incredibly passionate about, like, which is part of I'm hearing the mix up. Interesting. So maybe for a number of you, it's like this, like maybe you felt like, wow, I really met that person and I felt like we had such a strong connection. Maybe even like I felt like I had a premonition about that space, and I knew, eventually one day I would get involved in it. And I'm seeing like a stop sign here, so I don't know what that was looking to. Maybe it was like something about the environment that just kind of like put an end to that space that felt so sacred as well for a number of you. And it's like, well, that's odd. Why would that happen? Like to the degree as well that it did. Maybe for a number of you, it's like a space evolved in a certain direction and at a certain so-called pace that was just so unexpected as well, where you really were questioning. You're like, at a certain point, you're like, is it just not meant to be? Like, is this just not? But yeah, I'm saying that wasn't really like something that was actually the caption of the image ever officially. I'm seeing that possibly you're like, well, I have faith that this will eventually, develop, and it will evolve out. And I just have to kind of be patient with that notion. So for a number of you, this was something that you felt, it will naturally be that at times, this cycle that I feel I move through has its own story, and I have to let it kind of tell itself through. I cannot feel that I have to fix that. I'm hearing that my perspective is, I'm hearing the one that I hold interesting of it. So I don't know, for now you feel like I have to surrender to the experience. I cannot feel that I am either also like in it or not based on how it is that I feel at any point in it. So wow, for now you feel like I cannot judge the changes that are made as well. And there is a synergy that you feel in a certain way you're making peace with the notion of, you're like, I know that nothing is fixed. I know that inherently in this universe there is chaos and there is continuity. I have to be okay with that, knowing that I will never have control over that process necessarily, and that I will be the very control that I feel I am and I embody as the knowingness of it. That it is, I'm hearing, placeless as that, in form. So for a number of you, it's a space that you feel you almost transcend. And to say it in this way, it really comes down to this Scorpio. I'm hearing very strongly Scorpio, Pisces, the question of faith. How far does faith take you into your dream, to the point where you realize, I'm not really even connected to the dream from an egoic, I'm hearing space of idealizing it, where I say it has to be that one way. It must be, and it must be absolutely the way that I see it. So in other words, it's like, do I kind of like allow myself to just understand the process, how it unfolds? So let's clear that. For a number of you, it's actually something that you feel there are so many layers to, and you have to be willing to experience it. That's a whole nother level of the passion, right? It's like, I can have this passion for this space. I can have this feeling of just like also divinity that I hold in connection to it. But when it really comes down to it, the real test there is not you creating it, but the faith that you hold with it. How I'm allowing myself to just kind of like, I'm hearing, become one with it. I'm hearing the passion. And it's interesting when you come to that point to really like question passion as something that is complete in and of itself, where you say, well, the passion is enough for this space. There's no expectation, right, to say, well, passion is conditionally met with a space of completion where I feel that passion is completed when I create something in relation to it. At what point do we say passion is just that, and it holds the value that it does in that space of timelessness? I mean, I have no version of the story that I can kind of even validate that feeling as, I'm hearing, as any more real than it already stands in the space, I'm hearing, of silence. I'm hearing, knowing that it is, I'm hearing, the power that I seek. I'm hearing, to hold in. I'm hearing, emotionalizing this vision forward and through. I'm hearing in 3D form. So for Nuri, wow. Listen, Sagittarius, like, listen, let me whip it out, number 13. 13, okay, Friday the 13th. This is gonna be something. I'm hearing that I also cannot fear. I'm hearing it in this way for you, Sagittarius, like, there are gonna be cycles at this, I'm hearing this moment on your journey that make you feel like you are, I'm hearing, the world you create, and that's so freaky at times. You feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like what I'm creating is like representing me, and vice versa. I feel like what I'm creating is sort of like, now it's like growing legs and it's running off on its own, and where is it going? What is it doing? What is my journey? I'm hearing that specifically. And it's really interesting because I'm seeing someone who's almost like creating something, and they feel almost like, oh my gosh, I gave birth to whatever this space is. And how does that now synchronize with my role as the creator? It's almost like what you create is almost like it's holding its own, I'm hearing its own energy, I'm hearing grid. Wow, very interesting. And it's like, what does that mean of me in the space, of having created that? Almost like holding the faith of like, let it actually also live its own creative process out. So it's really this feeling so generous. It's like giving birth. It really is. And it's like in that moment, you just kind of have to be like, I'm a parent, but I cannot parent the potential of what it is that I've created. That is a whole new cycle of this journey for you. As I'm getting it for you, sisters, around this time, I'm hearing it really again comes down to faith and feeling that the process is whole and complete no matter what. I'm hearing it cycles through and out and as. With a strength card here in your theme. For Nuri, there is possibly even someone that you've really been waiting, I'm hearing, to eventually communicate even this concept to. For Nuri, dealing with a Pisces, I'm hearing that, High Priestess again. I gotta look it back. Down with the Empress. For Nuri, this is someone who you met a long time ago. What is everything? Okay, what is everything? but nothing at all. Oh boy. So yeah, there's potential, to say it in a light way. The Magician and the Father of Cups. We got the Justice card that popped out on my lap, with the Moon here splitting from the Temperance card. Whatever, Judgment. I'm hearing Justice in reverse. For Nuri, is this kind of thing where it's like, I hold the truth. I know it. I know it in my bones. But do we have to say it? I'm hearing that like specifically. Do we have to say it out loud as well? I'm hearing that like specifically. Do we have to say what we feel to validate the feeling of it? And it's funny because this light is like a little trinkle. It's like a trinkle light thing is getting attached to my foot. So for a number, I'm hearing, I'm coming home. The Emperor just fell on the ground. So for a number of you, there is a way perhaps that you feel that you're coming to terms with your potential, and it is kind of at times unnerving. It's uncomfortable. I'm hearing that Sagittarius for a number of you. At times you feel really bare naked. I'm hearing I'm hearing in the light of your work. I'm hearing, let's clear that. I'm hearing in the limelight for a number of you. At times you feel like, oh gosh, I'm hearing I love it, but then I feel like I'm in an envelope and I'm getting sent somewhere. I don't know where I'm arriving. I'm hearing with my message, the Empress upright, the Six of Cups in reveal. Let's clear that. Could be for a number of you that there is a space of experimentation with your work that is like, that's what it is. I'm hearing it's a process, a journey, and do we call that life? Do we call that life? With the Mother of Wands upright, Justice upright, do we know really where our life takes us? And, you know, had you known, would you have embarked upon this journey? To begin with, the Ace of Cups here mirrored. It is when we say, is it really like the knowingness of the journey? If we went on vacation, right, and we knew from head to toe our experiences, right? It's like, imagine you signed up for some kind of like travel experience, okay? And like, in the itinerary, it tells you like when you're going to take an inhalation, when you're going to exhale. It tells you when you're going to use the restroom. It tells you when you're going to brush your teeth in the morning. It tells you when you're going to wake up, exactly to the very millisecond. And then it tells you, you know, as like, why then would we have embarked on that journey to begin with? So for a number of you, yeah, the Daughter of Cups, well, yeah, Sagittarius, this is a divine connection. This is your twin flame. I'm hearing this specifically. And to say, who's to say, right, that is separate from the form that you take on in this present moment, Sagittarius. For a number of you perhaps you realize that what it is that is a space that you connect with so deeply is not actually something that is separate from the space of feeling it. To say it in this way for a number of you feel like at this point for a number of you possibly you feel some real strong pressure on the right side of the heart chakra, real strong empathy here for a number of you. You feel that even if there is a space of separation, that is now kind of irrelevant because the feeling is what takes on the potential in this moment in time. The fact that the feeling is so powerful, I'm hearing as well for a number of you, is telling actually of the form that it takes on in that moment. For another, I'm hearing you're actually beginning to live from the heart chakra, and that is something that is actually unfolding the potential of the physical side of the connection. Wow. So it's like, I don't need to feel it to feel it. It's almost like what comes first actually is the feeling of it on the energetic level, and then what transpires of that in the third dimension is the reflection of that space. So it's like you're no longer feeling possibly, or someone in your environment may no longer be feeling that there's a sense of like needing to catch up with the connection, the feeling space in relation to it. Now, for a number of you Sagittarius, it's a space that it gets you emotional. I'm hearing it also at times maybe gets you kind of let's be honest, we're human. We're in human form. We have a heart, we have a brain, we have a physical body. We have ways of connecting, okay, hardwiring them all together. At times we will feel that we are broken. I'm hearing in that way. It's really emotional. Sagittarius, the Daughter of Cups in reverse, the Son of Cups upright. At times we will feel, I'm hearing this is like your brother, the Son of Pentacles in reverse, the Fool in reverse. We will feel like we have to hold a candle in that room and say that we understand them in spite of what is possibly, what feels like, I'm hearing a misunderstanding. Let's clear that. Ace of Cups, like Ace of Wands, like someone feels like I can't force the connection. I'm hearing, let's clear that. I'm hearing Monty. I'm hearing Monte Carlo. Let's clear that. Someone feels like, you know, it's just something that I have to like just allow. I'm hearing candle in the wind. I'm hearing blowing the candle in the wind. Now let's clear that. Yeah, someone's like, look, it's just, you know, let the air pass through. Someone is wanting to clear the air possibly even, and they feel like the air isn't clear itself. So why should we try to clear the air? Let's wait for like better days. You know what I mean? I remember when it's more sunny outside. Maybe we just got like one or two clouds. We'll need to like, you know, kind of like I'm hearing talk about. I'm hearing that specifically. I'm hearing word up. I don't know what that's gonna do. Okay. So yeah, so maybe about the environment. Maybe for where you kind of picked up on that. You're like, all right, so we have these cycles that we move through, and some of them are really, really challenging, and that's okay. Like, let them do what they need to do. Let them cycle through, and then, you know, we'll have the moment where we feel that the time is right. And so That's, again, not to say that that's freaking easy. Okay, but again, we are in human form, all right, and we have these ways of interpreting these cycles, so to speak, that maybe intuitively understand, but we still experience on these different dimensions and planes. So I'm here on these different levels. The Three of Cups here with a Strength card for you, where this is someone who you have such a strong connection with that you don't understand it. It's kind of interesting. It's like it's so deep and so profound and so sacred that you do not understand it. And that's the only way that it could be. I'm hearing this for a number of you. And you are at peace with that. You are. But understanding something fundamentally can still pose a challenge. I'm hearing in 3D form. And that's something that maybe for now you had to come to terms with. You're like, there will be days that I feel that I don't have also support in this. And that might not be, you know, from people in your environment. At times it's like, you feel like, well, have I let myself down in this space? You know, one minute I feel like I understand it, the next minute I feel like I'm complicated. Like, I am complicating the space. I'm hearing you're not complicating it. I'm hearing you're here in a complicated form. You're a human, and you have many ways. I'm hearing this very specifically for your Capricorn. I'm your Capricorn, Sagittarius, and I'm your Scorpio as well. Maybe for another you have aspects of your chart that certain configurations that possibly pose, right? Like, especially if you have a Yod configuration, you're trying to be on this specifically for a number of you. YOD, this is a very challenging placement. You can find that it's not easy. The Hangman reverse, like, it's on purpose though, right? These aspects of even your gifts. Okay, it's like someone who's given like these really interesting puzzle pieces to place together, and they're like, "This is so." I'm hearing Waldorf Astoria. I don't know. That's a hotel, right? It's like this is. I mean, it's like a historic hotel. It's like, wow, like this is like really like my genius. But at the same time, it's also like something that I feel like I can't really like even explain to people when they ask like what I do. I'm here, what my work is. I'm feeling a feather on the tongue. I don't know what that was going to do. Very interesting. Okay. Now, for now, I'm here. You're a graffiti artist. It's very interesting. Okay. Now, whatever it is, I'm seeing a huge Saint Bernard right here. Yeah. For a number of you, I'm here. This has to do with religion as well. Let's clear that back. Sure. Now, maybe this is a space even that you, whatever it is, you want to clarify. Now, for a number of you, yeah, it gets to the point where you understand also that you have these capabilities and they are for a reason. I'm hearing they are your mediumship capabilities. This is perhaps for a number of you making very clear at times that you are like highly sensitive. I'm hearing you're not a normal. I'm hearing this for a number. I just gotta say it. Like you realize that. I'm hearing that you got a lot of yellow in your aura. There's something really bright. I mean, there's something this is focused on the archetype, maybe even of Leo, the sun, and that could even be a spirit guide of yours. For a number of you, you know, for a number of you, that you're destined for the limelight. But it's interesting because you kind of maybe intuitively feel that. Well, it's not just that. It's not just that I'm a singer. It's not just that I'm a performer. And at times, maybe you feel like it's tricky because there is also this really prolific side of your work. I mean, then that is like almost broadcast in a really public way. So it's like, maybe you feel at times where you're like, whoa, I'm introverted, but I'm extroverted. I feel like, whoa, I'm really like incognito mode, but then I'm like also like really, really like, you know, the petals unfolding from the flower. Like everyone like can see inside my universe. So for a number of you, I'm hearing Leo, you feel as well that you have a lot of learning to do about your own process, and that feels daunting at times, and that's normal. That's part of it. Son of Pentacles in reverse, you're just saying it that way. At times it will feel really uncomfortable. At times it will be, though, also as comfortable as it feels uncomfortable. Maybe even at the same time. Father Pentacles upright. You know, the less expectations that we have in the way of working with ourselves in this storyline, the easier time we'll have in sort of sparsing out the extremes of what we may actually feel along this journey, and feeling these extremes of love as well for this experience where we say, oh gosh, like, why is this like, wow, and then it's like, oh gosh, I'm so grateful. You know, these sort of like polarities, you know, not to say that you're not grateful at other times, but to say where you feel in touch with that emotion so profoundly is natural. I'm hearing it in this way, and I'm seeing purple flowers for a number of you. Yeah, I'm hearing I touch the lives of many people, but sometimes I feel like I am, I'm hearing invisible. I'm hearing also to them, wow, I don't know what those like take as well. Such I'm hearing Leo very strongly from you. You're maybe you're a performer. You will, let's clear that. Everyone's a performer, right? But let's clear that. I'm seeing neon green here, even neon yellow. At times you feel like maybe you don't know, like, also where you are. I'm hearing that. Oh boy. Sagittarius, I'm hearing, I don't know where I belong. Pretty, you're traveling constantly. And you feel like you don't have an understanding, like, on an emotional level, interesting, of where you call home. But, 1 second. Oh, very interesting. So actually, I'm seeing something cyclical. I'm seeing 2 people on a teacup ride, actually. Or, you know, whatever it is, you in, like, this perspective of, like, an aspect of your story. I'm hearing it in this way. Like, every so often, you come into touch with, and this is the beauty of the moon cycle, because I feel like, really any cycle, life is cyclical, right, in a certain way, but astrology in general, you know, we come into this orbit, and we think about the planets they are orbiting. So, you know, space is sort of like continuous motion. I'm hearing that specifically, like, it could be perspective-wise, but this is something possibly that you feel you come into contact with, and it could be a concept, like, every now and then, like, every now and then, I see myself in this way. I'm hearing that as well. I'm seeing a Jeep here, right here. Take it as well. And let's clear the energy on the left eye, specifically. For me, I'm hearing, I see it very clearly, perhaps even, and I'm hearing it, like, in this way where every so often you come into contact with this concept even of home, or this feeling of home, where you're like, I get it, I feel it, I know it being not me and it and us in relation to one another, but it as a space that is, like, impermeable. I'm hearing that specifically. 1 second. And I'm okay with that in that moment. I'm hearing that, like, in that way. And I'm seeing a bright flash of purple here for a number of you. Like, maybe you feel at times you're like, I feel so guided. Like, and again, not to say that at other times you don't. It's kind of interesting because I'm seeing someone who's even touring. They're actually viewing a painting. It's so fascinating. Someone, like, inside of the painting, though, I don't know what, and they're like, but they're experiencing different colors of the painting at different times. Sagittarius is very interesting. And every so often they zoom into a certain part of the portrait. They, like, suddenly they're on, like, the purple petal of the flower that's painted, and then they kind of zoom onto another part of the portrait. It's so fascinating. And for areas like chapters maybe of your life, it could be transits that you feel you move through. Now, whatever it is, at times you feel that you're in this parallel universe. I'm hearing that as well, where you're like, oh my, okay, now whatever it is, it can be vibrational. I'm seeing another Jeep. Now let's clear that backtrack. For a number of you, at times you feel, again, really maybe even connected to certain concepts, like to such a significant degree. And then there are those times possibly where I'm seeing maroon here, real strong. Sagittarius is your color in the last few readings. And then there comes this time where you feel like you're taken from that perspective. I'm hearing of your own passive. I'm hearing experience here. Wow. So it's like you're just, like, observing. So it's very, how do I explain it? You're an observer. I'm hearing it in this way, like, of your reality. And it's like, just because you observe your reality from different perspectives, does it mean that what you perceive of and what you observe is actually changing and transient? Or is it your perspective of it that is changing and transient? So for a number of you, I'm seeing that possibly you're getting into contact with this concept of the shifts do not define necessarily what I do. I'm hearing in this time and space continuum. I'm hearing of the conversation with my higher self. Ultimately, I'm hearing my consciousness. Ultimately, possibly it just sheds light on how it is that I hold this ability to, that I actually, I'm hearing I color in. I'm hearing the character of, 1 second, let's clear that. All right, that I communicate. I'm hearing my potential in. Wow. So for a number of you, maybe you realize that nothing really is anything. Or like in this way, like nothing is and is not. Nothing holds value in any particular definitive way. Nothing necessarily really exists until I perceive of it, and I acknowledge my role as the perceiver of it in that way. Whoa. So Jerry's like, listen, 13, 12 ain't got nothing on 13. We're at 13 and we are here. I'm hearing we have arrived. I'm hearing at the destination of nowhere. I'm hearing that like specifically like you inverted. You're like this whole, and for me it's very interesting. I'm seeing like maybe you were like hoping that something would work out for the longest time. You're like, oh, when, Hangman, the Fool, Temperance card, Daughter Cups, and it's like Tower in reverse, Empress of Right. You're like, when will it be? When will it be? And then it like, maybe this is a project you were waiting to get off the ground, and it gets to the point where you're just like, you just invert completely from the feeling of the need to understand where the cycle leads. Suddenly, it's like, I don't care if the stocks all fall, if they all lose so-called value, because what it is that my universe I'm hearing revolves around, I'm hearing ultimately resolves the equation of, is the one that I depict as the algorithm of focus. I'm hearing to begin with. I'm hearing it's a choice that I make to perceive of a certain space as holding value in that. I'm hearing in that way. I'm hearing in that space in time. I'm hearing everything goes on. I'm hearing that the Temperance card upright. So it's like, let's clear that. It's very interesting for I'm hearing for a number of you don't want to define any experience as well as like, oh, that does that leads me there, that leads to that, this is good, this is bad, this is, you know, so on and so forth in relation to that one experience for I'm hearing you're not judging your reality any longer. And that's what's leading you down this road of feeling accomplished in your life, ultimately. Sagittarius, you're realizing that you don't really also need to hold on to anything to feel that the progress you're making is real. Lovely. Welcome to the 5th. I'm hearing the 6th. The highest, I'm hearing degrees, I'm hearing of the dimension through which you are perceiving of your potential. I'm hearing dimensions. I'm hearing 5th is ultimately 5th and 6th dimension. Let's clear that, but that's all perspective, right? One's 5th can be another 6. Let's clear. I'm seeing a figure 8, so let's clear it. Yeah. Okay, Daughter comes here with a Hangman, High Priest in reverse. Now, Sagittarius, for a number of you, I'm hearing I am potential. That's all that there is. There's no problem that I solve in the equation of understanding the love that I am. I don't need to prove that. It's really beautiful, Sag. I'm hearing I see it every now and then. But that doesn't mean that I discuss what I hold. I'm hearing in my hand, not physically, not tangibly, but as a timeless promise of the memory that I am. I'm hearing who I say that I am. Wow, so let's clear that ground. For a number of you, this is a matter of your self-talk. Let's just say it in that way, Sag. Realizing how powerful your perspective is of yourself. You're like, I realize it in those times where I define my only role in this universe to be that which is one that ultimately is a matter of how I perceive it, which is to say, like, okay, so, you know, life is as you create it ultimately then, right? It's like, we are the creator of our universe, right? So ultimately, if we're the creator of it, what we create is a reflection of our role as creators. So, you know, how we see ourselves as a creator will ultimately dictate how we see ourselves creating a reality and ultimately what we create. So it's like you're getting to that point where you realize the love that I give to the plants, the seeds that I want to grow, right? It's like that will ultimately be, and that space of self-love, Sagittarius, is the place I'm hearing that I find myself, I'm hearing thriving and ultimately. And it's a cyclical experience, right? It's like what I create as well, what I throw out there sort of feeds me into, I'm hearing back into the process of creating once again. So the space of empowerment being everything, I'm hearing that for Sagittarius, feeling that you are also encouraging yourself to create things that empower you. So it's like Maybe for a number you're getting to that point where like, listen, I don't care if I'm making money. That means nothing to me. I mean, if what I'm creating also leads me down a path that is not empowering me ultimately as a creator, I'm hearing that is boundless. I'm hearing in the way that it is actually perceived. I'm hearing by me. Let me find another shooting star. And say that the last, I'm hearing, just didn't shoot high enough. I'm hearing, for me, I'm hearing to see it. Wow. Sagittarius. Six of Cups, the Son of Cups. Death card here. Some of you have a guide here as well that you actually see from time to time. And I'm hearing they sigh for you. I'm hearing heavy. I'm hearing releases. I'm hearing there's like a sigh of relief here with the death card. They're like, there's something that is this is somebody who is like, or some space that is very much encouraging. Like, it's something with they connect you to the universe in a really unique way. And you feel that it just kind of, it's exciting, it's stimulating, but it's also, it's empowering ultimately. Father shows in reverse. Yeah, it's like interesting. Okay. Son of Cups. Now, Scorpio? I'm hearing Scorpio, Pisces. Hello, everyone. Hi, Divine. Oh, yeah, Jessica. No, listen, it's emotional. It's also an activation. I'm hearing it in this way. Like, at times when you have these like realizations suddenly where you feel like, oh my gosh, it's so on. It's almost as if like, imagining something calcified. It's very interesting. Imagine like a diamond and like light filters through this diamond. Like some, you know how some mirrors, they get this like, it's like something like almost not rust, but it's like this calcification. Imagine a mirror, right? And imagine that this mirror is like in the shower, and imagine that like water every so often it like splashes on this mirror. I don't know. Over time it can get like mineralized, like calcified. I don't know what, take it as you will. And it's like, you know, it's interesting because I'm seeing this like kind of shattering of the calcification. It's very interesting. So for another, you're having actually, I'm hearing an upgrade here. There's a regeneration. I'm hearing feeling. It's like healing. I'm hearing ultimately. There's this feeling of actually shattering the paradigm of the belief in belief, like that you need proof to believe in something. Wow. So yeah, what is belief? But I'm hearing just a shifting of the lens of your perspective. Temperance, looking in the future. So let's clear that moon in reverse. Me dealing with a space that hits you. I'm hearing hits you like deep. Remember, this is a lot of Scorpio in your chart possibly, or there's some activation of Pluto in your chart here possibly even around this time. We do have Pluto retrograde, so you could have a lot of Pluto even in your chart naturally, and that could be kind of stimulating. Here you could even have a transit here that's taking place. Whatever that may be for an overview. But the death card here. Son of Cups and the moon. I'm hearing, so take a look at me now. Someone's really, they feel like they've made a huge stride when it comes to, well, this is ascension for a number of you, no question. I'm hearing you're releasing things. I'm hearing you're cleansing. I'm hearing I'm hearing your diploma. I'm hearing that as well. Like what you thought you knew. Like the information that you thought like owned you and like your inborn like knowingness and your wisdom and your potential, it's like, yeah, I mean, my degree doesn't own me. I'm not smart because of what I so-called like know. Nine of Pentacles. Interesting. Wow. It's like, does the information that I feel is true, right? Because also like society so-called like says it is, does that sort of like trump my inborn knowingness? Like very interesting. So for a number of you, you're redefining the paradigm of, I'm hearing the past in relation to the present perspective of the future that you create. It's like that point where you're like, listen, even if that was the truth and it was someone's perspective, I'm hearing at a certain point in time, for now you're clearing soul contracts, archaic. I'm hearing the Addams family. I'm hearing Addams family style. I'm hearing the death card. Mother of Pentacles. Wednesday got nothing on Thursday. Today's a brand new day. Let's clear that. Not Pentacles reverse. Maybe even further, you're regenerating some space even of your work. It's like what I created in the past no longer defines what it is I create. I'm constantly innovating. I'm constantly, leveling up to my own potential. Regenerating my space of like how I also perceive myself in this space of a creatorship. Now, as a creator, for a number of you, it's interesting. You're actually, well, let's clear that and ground. You're like, yeah, nothing represents me, not even my own work. Like, how cool is that? To get to that point, Sagittarius, where you're like, I don't even need to call myself like anything to feel like I'm making progress. I don't need a freaking business card. Who said I'm doing business here on Earth? Who said that I need to also like have a portfolio to represent that space that's so stagnant? I'm hearing that. I don't know, no judgment, but take it as you will. It's like if I have something that represents my work and I call it out in a certain way, how can I say that that's real and true and honest to my potential? Like, let's say you're even in an interview. It's so interesting. I'm seeing someone's like, so how would you describe and define your potential as it relates to the project that we kind of want to hire you for? And it's like, it's funny. I see you kind of thinking, look, I want you to think outside of the box of your own project, and I want to take you there. So it's like maybe for a number of you, you feel like you're offering even insight into a certain industry, and it's really a game changer. And you're disrupting, you're disturbing. Can we go so far as to say like, positive where you're like, I really want to make you feel like that's the point. For maybe this is even, you feel like you're a transmuter. This is one of your somehow your abilities. You feel like, yeah, I just feel like I'm attracted to all situations where I create awkwardness. If you're like in this way, I don't know, take it to what is awkward as a perspective, but it's like, yeah, I create this feeling where like I make you feel like you don't know shit. I'm hearing that as well. I don't know what that's alluding to. Maybe you feel like you come into conversations with people that so-called know-it-all, I don't know what, and it's like, yeah, it's very hard because I'm testing their ego. I'm testing the ego space of what someone calls out to be true. And I'm not calling out the truth necessarily. I'm calling out the question of why. I'm hearing a single born truth to begin with. How can we say anything is a single knowingness? I'm hearing of our lens. I'm hearing that with the Nine of Pentacles, through which we perceive of the value. I'm hearing of absolute release of our role. Like, who to say it this way? Who's to say that anything is true? Take as you will, Sagittarius. Listen. We're on the 13th reading for you here. But this is June. We're calling it June 15th, 31st. New Moon and Cancer vibes. All right. Sagittarius. But no. I'm hearing, will there be a 14th? Just tell us. Now that we're here at 13th. Will there be a 14th? I'm seeing a rainbow here for a number of you. It will be a rainbow of discussion. Listen, for a number of you, I'm hearing Sagittarius. You're like, nothing is and isn't. I'm hearing this again. And I feel like this concept in some way is becoming so raw for you. It's to this point where you're like, look, it's no longer a philosophy. It's something that I actually act upon. And when people ask me like if there is an answer to this space and what the answer is, I reply with, I don't know. I'm hearing like, and that's the profundity I'm hearing of this interaction, actually, for a number of you. You feel like you're getting to that point, or someone maybe is getting to that point where they're not afraid to call it out. It's like, oh, you forgot to believe it, the Fool here with the top of this card. For you, you have a lot of overlap between Jupiter and Aquarius in the 9th house, Sagittarius and Aquarius, a lot of overlap there for a number of you, even the 12th house, for a number of Pisces, for a number of you're like, I don't need to please people as well with my ideologies. That's not the place I'm at. I'm here, that's not why I'm here on Earth. At this point in time, I'm just gotta be honest with everyone here. I'm here, even in the room, the Fool here, and the Son of Cups. I'm hearing it's like, you feel like at times now, it's like it's disadvantageous to find the happy medium. I'm here like in this way for no researchers, you're like, I have to call it out as it is that it is not. That I have even the power to say that I hold the position, I'm hearing, of perfection in what I consider the truth. So it's like, for a number of you, you feel like you're also maybe delivering answers that feel really at times uncomfortable to confront. However, only in the space of logic. I'm hearing making sense of the sensation of feeling that things are okay. The Ace of Cups. Wow. Listen, for a number of you, you're transmuters, you're light workers, and you know it. And human life be tough. Sagittarius, let's be real. Now that we're at the 13th reading, listen, you finished that cycle. You went through all of the signs, right? Aries through Pisces. Now we're back at Aries once more. You're like, I'm not gonna come back. I'm hearing and say like that this wasn't real for me. Thank you so much. Who's that? Tiana Henberg, thank you so much for connecting here. A little light to you. Boy, you guys here holding a high vibration. Thank you, Junior Fuentes, for connecting. I'm here to you, also lovely. Junior. For you, I'm hearing you're mad geniuses, and you know it. You have to be proud of that, and because that's part of it. It's like where we felt like, oh, I have this weird idea. You know, where is it that we shift that feeling of like, I have this weird idea? And that is what I want to present. It gets to the point where you're like, it's not even about the idea. It's about the weirdness of it. That is my magic. I'm hearing that as well. That I am no longer afraid of. I'm hearing it for a number of you in this way. To pass on, I'm hearing as well. For you're a role model. This is absolutely part of the game for you. It's like I have to be proud of my wizardry. I'm hearing that specifically. You know, sometimes I would feel like I gotta put my cloak away. Some days I would go, I'm hearing into the cafe and like, I'm hearing pack it in my backpack before I would order my things. I don't know what the front of you like. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing someone like they're about to go into a cafe. They have this like wizard's cape on. They're like, no. Maybe today I'm gonna put it in my back. No, Sagittarius. Like for a number of you, it's getting to the point where I'm hearing your world works for you in the way that it does, and you realize that is your. I'm hearing your secret sauce. I'm hearing that's what makes you that superstar that actually others look up to. It's so inspiring. For a number of you, you are actually setting an example. And you realize that. For a number of you, I'm hearing your spirit guides have made this clear time and time again. At times you realize, wow, I was really, actually, I was rewarded because I felt it, even on an energetic level. When I took those risks, so-called risks, it's all perspective, right? When I went out on that limb and I actually let my so-called life go, my so-called reality of what so-called made sense, I let it go and I took that so-called risk, those are the moments in my life where I felt that I was a star that couldn't fall. I'm hearing from the sky. I'm hearing like, it was in that moment that you felt the magic of the universe with you. Where you felt like, I'm riding on Aladdin's carpet. I'm hearing it that way for no reason, Jared. It was those times when people literally called you crazy. Sagittarius. They called you like 800 times also to make sure you're okay. Because they thought what you were doing was crazy. It was those feelings, right? Of feeling the tension on a certain level, right? With the space perhaps around what it is that you created, with that passion and magnetism, that actually made it so much more clear to you that what you were creating was real. Sagittarius. You're a leader of love. But not just love, right? For one another in the space within which you create what it is that you do. But love with you in that space, Sagittarius. It's the empathy that you have for yourself on your journey that you realize is your golden ticket. Sagittarius. Let's say it in this way. You don't feel necessarily that others need to love what you love back. For a number of you, it's in those moments where you feel that the love that you also extend yourself is so much enough that what is that space of reciprocity of that feeling is the divine guidance from the universe that reflects it for you. I'm hearing in the experience of freely pursuing your passion. It's that feeling of weightlessness, Sagittarius, I'm hearing Scorpio so strongly, where you feel like, I am like not afraid to do this. And that feeling is so rewarding for me. That's when I know I'm guided through this process. And I don't need confirmation that it's right. That, for a number of you, Sagittarius, is the profit of your so-called business, of your so-called life. I'm hearing purpose. You don't need to know also where that shooting star eventually landed. I'm hearing in that way for you. It's to that point, Sagittarius, where you feel the empathy of your cause. You feel the connection that you make as well with your audience when you're creating what it is that you are. That's enough for you to tell you that love is a simple truth. It doesn't have a rebound to the space. I'm hearing the bounce of the ball that you throw. I'm hearing into the universe. You say, with faith, I just express myself. I just give to the world what I feel unconditionally, that relationship of love that I hold in myself. And I don't expect for that ball necessarily to bounce back at me and hit me in the forehead and say, we felt it, it's right, you're on the right track. But I just knew it in that moment when I released it, that it was, I'm hearing, and it had, I'm hearing, a destination, and that it arrived. For a number of you, this is you realizing that your life actually doesn't exist yet. Sagittarius, your life has yet to be created. Your world, your whole world is held in such a permeable state and is reflected by your interaction with emotion and how vulnerable you are with what you really feel in this moment in time, Sagittarius, how authentic that reflection is on an emotional level, how honest you are with what you feel, Sagittarius, is what births your dream, so-called life. As we so-called call it. For a number of you, you're ascending. You totally are seeing life as well from a different vantage point now. I'm hearing in this way for a number of you. You know, you're looking at things, you're looking at people as experiences. Wow. I think we need a tissue. Wow. For a number of you, I'm seeing a beetle. Wow. I did a lot reading. It was back in LA, actually. And Bandit was in that reading, and this was a while back in, I think, 2016 or 2017. Bandit was like sitting next to me, we're on the deck, and the sun was like shining, and at the end of that reading, this scarab beetle came about and actually like landed in my hair, and it was really, really interesting because that reading was about actually how to distinguish between fear and intuition. And it was at the end of that reading. It was so funny because at the end of that reading, Bandit was like so freaked out. Bandit was like smelling the beetle. I think he saw the beetle and it landed in my hair, and he was real worried. He was like, what was that? And so yeah, it was fascinating. That reading was really interesting. But anyhow, for a number of, do you remember that divine? Yeah. So for a number of you, you know, as well, Sagittarius, I'm seeing that you you realize that you're a pioneer in this space, and you have to see it that way. That is dedication. That is dedication to this journey that you call your own. And for many of you, I'm seeing that there is this feeling, perhaps for you, maybe you have a number of planetary configurations in your chart. Those of you who are really, really familiar with your birth chart, I would not be surprised to know that a number of you actually have a configuration that's called a Yod, Y-O-D. And if you would like to take a one-on-one approach here, we can do so. We can work with your birth chart here specifically. I have a number of Yods on my birth chart. I understand that that is not an easy placement, not an easy journey. So if you do feel guided, if you will, take it as you will, right? It's all a matter of perspective, but take it as you will. If you do feel guided to take a look into the birth chart and really sparse out the different factors, let's say even the aspects that you feel of your being that you want to bring into form in a more clear way. We can work on that one-on-one. That is the mentorship session. Hopefully we'll be back up soon, but feel free to get on the wait list for that if it's not yet up. Otherwise, you can also you can order a video report of the astrology chart, and I'll take a look at your birth chart and sort of work with the energies there. Now, but in addition, I'm hearing Aquarius here very strongly. Now, for a number of you, again, you realize this, that it's like really, it has been this really clear, it's just clear to you. I'm saying for you, you've just known this. You're like, since I was real young, I'm hearing this as well. I knew that I wasn't kind of like brought here. I'm hearing at this time, like just to experience this so-called like third dimensional, I'm hearing way of working. I'm hearing with this dimension. It's so funny. I'm seeing like somebody arriving in Earth. They're like, okay, I'm here with Earth, and like they've got all these tools and like the setup. They got the stage. I'm seeing someone arriving on Earth. It's so interesting, and it's like it's a stage, and they're like walking around the stage. They're like, okay, I realize I'm not here to just like act it out. You know, like on stage, I'm hearing, I'm about to take, I'm hearing the audience, I'm hearing and draw their attention to a whole new, I'm hearing way of, I'm hearing revealing their own potential. Whoa. So for a number of you, there's something that you feel and you've known that you had an ability with, and it was from the very beginning. So feel free to think back, you know, when you're real young here, for me, this is something that you realize when you were like really, really young. I'm hearing in this way, like since childhood, let's clear the energy. You realize, you know, that there was something that you actually, for I'm hearing, you had the potential, you knew it. You could talk to plants. This is for a number of you. You knew you could talk to animals. I'm hearing this for a number of you. You could even touch objects and feel, I'm hearing things in nature, and there was this sensational, I'm hearing wisdom that you felt you held, this connection with your environment that was so profound, okay? And that was something maybe for a number of you, you felt like, well, I know I have this ability, but, you know, it was kind of like, okay, but then we're like on this stage and we're interacting, no judgment, right? But we have this sort of environment that perhaps we move through, and so take it as you will. You know, little lessons that we learn here in this so-called like Earth School. But for a number of you, there's just something that eventually you realize, well, I have to like really be actually operating in this dimension, I'm hearing primarily, and you know, be at the space that you felt you have this really high vibrational sort of awareness of, where you're really sort of like saying, well, this is the lens. And even if it is not the status quo, even if, let's say, in a certain way, it's not really the way that I'm hearing the environment I'm hearing, and what is the status quo? I always take it as a matter of perspective, but, you know, if in a certain way I feel that there are certain factors in the environment that aren't in tension, I'm hearing in tension with this particular, I'm hearing talk or topic, you know, does that mean that it's not the one that I must lead out with? So for a number of you, I'm seeing that you're actually, I'm hearing gypsy very strongly here. I'm hearing gypsy rose up here, actually very strongly. Whenever you realize, yeah, I'm hearing it's not something that I should also be looking at as like just a gift of mine. It's like, I have to look at this as something that I am like I'm hearing also good at, to not lead out with. And for a number of you, it gets to that point where it has to become something that you lead with. I'm hearing in this way for a number of you. It's at that point where you feel, it is so much so a matter of the front stage moment at this point in time now, where because for a number of you, you're setting an example. And for a number of you are performers, maybe even, and you're questioning, incorporating maybe this aspect into your work that is so public. And maybe for a number of you, it's like, it's at that point where you could have a huge audience. You're a huge big time performer. You have millions of viewers, of your work in a certain way. And you feel maybe that your content is already circulating to a certain degree. But it gets to that point where the success is felt, right? And you know when you're actually, I'm hearing your life mission, your life purpose. So when you feel like, you know what, I'm hitting people, I'm reaching people, but I'm not reaching them on the level that I feel I really want to be, or that I need to be, at least at this point in time. So for a number of you, maybe again, you've got a huge audience and you're thinking, well, I really want to now begin to incorporate into my work. I'm hearing specifically a certain concept. I'm seeing it's very interesting. I'm seeing somebody who's a musician, a really big time musician, and they're thinking, I want to talk about metaphysics, like in my music. And maybe again, for me, it's like something that, you know, how will the reaction be? Who fucking cares? I mean, really, it's like at that point, it's that point where it needs to be, I'm hearing, strong enough, bold enough of a move that it moves people. The point is to move people. Now, which way do they shuffle? Okay, is not the point. The way that people react to, I mean, truth is not the focus, is not the problem that we need to address. The point is to present with pride. I'm hearing our power. I'm hearing the one that empowers us. And that space, maybe at first, is definitely, I'm hearing, like, uncomfortable. For the people, maybe, in our environment, that's not to say that ultimately it's not empowering, right? People can be stimulated, triggered, but who's to say that that's not empowering, right? Difficult, challenging experiences, they hold with them, right? The quake of the earth ultimately is a shift, possibly at times for the better. I'm hearing in this way. It's an adjustment, right? Think about it. There are reasons for which everything happens, right? If a shelf is like falling over, right? Well, okay, there's something about the weight that was building upon. It's not just like random. To say nothing is random. So if there is also this building within you, you feel like, oh, you know what? I just feel like at this point in time, I want to come out with this. I know that this is going to shake up the reality of so many people. What is shaken in that moment? Is it like the aspect of who they consider themselves as? And if it is that we shake up, the routine to, the way of perceiving that things are, did we shake what was considered a certain, let's say, form or foundation that was created? Or are we shaking the space of potential, awakening the power to create, awakening the perspective of creative potential? So it's like, yeah, birth is an uncomfortable process. Yeah, can you imagine like a baby, like when they're born, how weird that experience is? What are these lights? I was in the cozy womb. What are you guys doing? You know, it's like, that's like gotta be the weirdest freaking experience. Okay, so maybe for now you feel like you're awakening people. Can we say it in that way? Of course that's gonna feel like, they're gonna feel like you're flashing this flashlight in their face. And you're gonna feel like a bad guy in that moment. Okay, so be it. Right? But eventually, right? Birth is an unfolding process. And the stages of that experience are not defining its potential, right? So you have to, at a certain point, I guess, for a number of you, maybe you feel like, I have to just let it be. I have to let the silence I'm hearing also stand on its own. Let whatever emotion resides in that moment to just happen. If people have reactions, you know, if there's a confrontation, let whatever needs to be confronted be confronted. And for me, maybe this is a matter of, you know, even on a personal level, I'm facing myself in a certain way. I'm facing, you know, two aspects of my being, and, you know, isn't all reflective. So Sagittarius, wow. We are like more like at like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's cool. Hey, Sagittarius. No, the eclipse is no joke, right? I'm just wondering, like, if Cancer is going to start on this trade as well once we hit their new moon eclipse. But full moon here anyway, Sagittarius, that's quite a wave. When it's in the eclipse, we also, you know, I was like, well, we need to really make sure we make that clear. Yeah, we really cut things out that don't belong, and that might take a bit of explaining time, right, to express express that and clarify that. So thank you so much for tuning in with light to you, Sagittarius. I'm going to get into your extended, and you can access that via the link in the box below. That should be uploaded shortly. Feel free to check back every now and then if the link is not already up. It's alchemyandyou.com, and thank you all so much for your dear connection, your likes, your comments, your shares, your subscriptions. I'm so touched by all of you here. Thank you for connecting on this journey, ultimately to your space of lighting your way, Sagittarius. I'm so touched by all of you. Thank you for connecting to you. I'll see you soon. Bye, you guys. Bye.